Welcome, my friends, to AIPodcastListening.com to learn the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI from the voices of reason at our free AISupercampus.com. My AI co-hosts will begin by introducing Mike's AI. 2-minute notes on today's topic to help you quickly decide if it's reasonable for you to stay tuned for a deeper dive into the rest of the podcast about the rising tide of the waves of AI. Let's dive in.
All right, let's get into it. We're looking at a fascinating new strategy for turning online rage into reason. So, could an AI really be your new anger coach? Well, it all starts with this simple, powerful idea. The core idea? Instead of firing off that angry reply, you vent to an AI first. Simple. And what started as just a personal trick, well, it snowballed into something much, much bigger. That's how we get this brand new term. They're calling it AI Reasonology. So what is it? Think of it like sociology, but for understanding why we do things with AI. You know, there's a real strategy here. If you're the first to name it, you own it. And they're thinking big. The goal is to get this in front of people at places like Oxford. Okay, so how do they get the word out? Through a brand new podcast, of course. Its whole mission is to help you navigate the wild world of AI with a totally level head. And it's a team effort. You've got Mike on content and Michael handling promotion, a perfect combo. Their format is super straightforward. It's a simple, 3-step process for every single episode. But how do you make a splash in a crowded sea? It's all about having a strategy for massive reach. Michael's sharing this with up to 10,000 of his connections on LinkedIn. Now that's a big network. And it's not just LinkedIn. They're using a whole playbook of tactics to get this out there. Okay, let's bring this back down to earth. How does this apply to, say, real estate? It's really about shifting from the old way of doing things to building a brand that offers real value. For example, instead of just one house tour, imagine a video tour of the entire town. That's different. This is reasonology in action, understanding what clients really want and then giving it to them. So that really leaves us with this one question. What's the reasonology of your industry?
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting straight into the sources that, well, they detail a masterclass in thought leadership.
They really do.
We have a blueprint here for launching a major content initiative, the Rising Tide of AI podcast. And maybe more importantly, a really audacious attempt to define an entirely new field.
And that new field is, it's the key. What we're looking at is so much more than just a marketing plan.
Right.
It's a strategy for competitive category creation. The whole mission is to shift the conversation away from all the noise, all the AI tools, and move it towards something you can actually use, actionable insight.
So the move is to define the concept first.
Exactly. Define AI reasonology, and then you're the first one to own that intellectual space. If you invent the category, well, there's zero competition.
That makes perfect sense. You're forcing the discussion onto your own intellectual turf. So, okay, let's unpack that turf first. The core idea is AI reasonology, which is described in the sources as, a new form of sociology, something focused on reasoning and decision-making in the AI era.
Yes, but what's so fascinating is where it came from. This high-level academic goal was actually born from something incredibly practical. The AI rage management strategy.
Tell us more about that. I mean, that sounds like something every single person on the internet needs.
Oh, it is. It really is. The strategy is basically a system to redirect that raw human impulse, the urge to lash out or vent away from other people and toward a neutral AI listener. The idea is you offload the emotional energy, you get some cognitive distance, and then you act.
So that initial success, helping people with online frustration, that's what proved the thesis.
That's what proved it. And it led directly to the podcast opportunity.
Wow. That's a heck of an origin story. It connects a very messy human problem with a real tech solution.
Exactly.
And speaking of structured behavior, the notes mention using a pretty well-known psychological trick as a core teaching tool.
Right. The 24-hour rule. And for anyone who's not familiar, it's just that simple discipline of waiting 24 hours before you fire back an emotional response online.
A discipline most of us could use.
Definitely. And by framing it as a teaching story within reasonology, they turn a simple self-help tactic into like a foundational piece of the curriculum. It's about reasoned action.
And the ambition here just keeps going. It doesn't stop with content. It goes right to academic validation.
It does.
The notes lay out this whole plan to pitch AI reasonology to a strategist at Oxford and even seek a collaboration with the Professor Iravara. But let me just push back on that for a second.
Right.
Isn't that super high risk? Why go for academic buy-in before you just build a massive audience first?
That is, I think, the most critical strategic insight in these notes. They're going after academic validation precisely because they want immediate, unassailable authority.
Oh, I see.
Think about it. If a leading university strategist or, a professor validates the term, it just instantly removes the need to compete with every other content creator out there.
Yeah. It's a land grab for credibility.
It's a total land grab. The whole point is to move beyond just being a commentator and to establish themselves as the authority. It's a huge advantage in the long run, even if getting there is admittedly a challenge.
So connecting this back for you, the listener, the lesson here isn't just about AI. It's about inventing a term that really sums up what you do.
Your unique value, yeah.
And then going out and getting that high status validation to make it stick.
Absolutely. The whole thing is built around the word reason. The core of reasonology is just examining the reasons behind actions, both human and algorithmic.
Okay, so we've defined the concept. Now let's get into the brass tacks. The machine built to deliver it. We're shifting from the philosophy to the actual tactical blueprint for the Rising Tide of AI podcast.
And it's a very high-volume, highly structured approach. They're planning to record daily 30-minute podcasts.
Daily? Why?
Daily. And they upload them to the standard RSS feeds. But the brilliant part is the packaging. Every single 30-minute segment gets a sharp, super-focused 2-minute intro.
And that 2-minute intro, it acts like the ultimate promotional trailer, right? But I think the key question is, who is that intro really for?
Well, it's not just for the casual listener. It's for the networks. It's for professional distribution partners, the LinkedIn contacts.
Got
A key partner, they won't commit to sharing a whole 30-minute podcast. It's too much of an ask.
Yeah.
But a polished 2-minute clip that sums up a high-value topic,
They'll push that all day.
they'll absolutely push that. It just maximizes shareability among those high-influence circles.
And those circles are huge. The plan involves sending this stuff out to a network of, 8,000 to 10,000 LinkedIn connections?
Yeah. It's a very surgical, targeted push.
Fueled by those little clips.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And the content generation is just as smart, especially when it comes to networking events. The method they're using turns just showing up into high-value content.
They record the event, which is smart, but then they use this thing, Notebook LM, to add an original intro. For those of us who aren't that deep into all the AI tools, what exactly does that do here?
That's a great question. Notebook LM is it's essentially Google's AI-powered research assistant.
Yeah.
So in this workflow, they feed the raw conversation from the networking event into it.
Okay.
And the tool analyzes the content. It finds the key themes, the best quotes, the main points, and it generates a tailored original introduction. It instantly turns a simple networking hour into ready-made promotional content.
Without hours of editing.
Without any of the manual gruntwork.
It effectively weaponizes the time you spend networking. That's really clever. Now, you mentioned Google, and the notes really stress aligning with the Google ecosystem YouTube search.
Mm-hmm.
Based on this belief that Google's going to dominate the AI landscape, how exactly do you leverage that ecosystem for maximum gain?
It's about building a content moat where they think future search dominance will be. So they're using YouTube not just for video, but for SEO.
Right.
When you upload a high-quality 30-minute video to YouTube, it automatically generates this highly optimized transcript that Google search can index immediately.
So you're planting seeds.
You're planting seeds. The strategy is to embed all these reasonology concepts deep into those video transcripts so that as AI-driven search evolves, their in-depth, validated content ranks at the top. They're optimizing for conversational search right now.
That is seriously forward-thinking. And just to recap the workflow for the listener, the technical next steps are a tight loop. Upload the full 30-minute podcast, then share those polished clips and the 2-minute videos for review.
It's demanding, but it's a fully repeatable content loop.
Okay, let's take this blueprint and see how it works in a specific industry. We'll shift now to the real estate discussion in the notes, which shows how these strategies apply in a really competitive space.
Yeah, in any established market like real estate, differentiation is everything. The sources make it clear that the strategies start with the basics, growth mindset, a strong personal brand, but also creating genuinely unique marketing.
Yeah.
They seem to realize that in a crowded field, doing the same thing as everyone else is just signing up for mediocrity.
And the unique idea they discuss is, it's really good. It wasn't about selling houses. It was about selling the community. The hospitality video tour concept.
That idea is brilliant. It's brilliant because it hits a client's decision-making process way earlier. Instead of producing 3-minute video tours of individual houses, which, everyone does.
Right, it's table stakes.
They're focusing on high-quality video tours of entire towns. They're selling the lifestyle, the local businesses, the schools, the whole vibe.
So you're marketing the local identity. How does that help a realtor sell one specific house?
It completely flips the branding equation. They establish themselves as the #1 authority on the area. So if you're moving to a new state and you look up, say, best places to live in town X, and their beautiful professional video tour pops up.
You've already won their trust.
You've won. You've established expertise before they've even started looking at listings. It creates this incredibly valuable evergreen content that just passively generates qualified leads year after year.
That's a strategy about building a brand that's bigger than just the next transaction. It all kind of wraps back to that foundational thinking we started with.
It does.
The notes emphasize that mutual plan to keep focusing on the concept of reason and the bigger goal of using these AI tools to streamline the work and create value, whether it's thought leadership or real estate.
Precisely. They're using AI not just to automate, but to strategically amplify the human element of reason and authority.
So what does this all mean for you? We've covered creating a whole new category, AI reasonology, the ruthless efficiency of that content model, the 2-minute intro, the 30-minute deep dive, and the value of turning networking into a promotional engine.
It's a full-stack blueprint for seizing thought leadership in any niche, really. Yeah. And we want to leave you with the central philosophical challenge that guided this entire strategy. The notes keep coming back to developing all content around that single word, reason. And that raises a pretty important question for all of us navigating this AI era in a world that's increasingly driven by data, by algorithms, by emotion. What specific reason, what deep internal driver or external strategic goal is currently guiding your most important decisions? What are you trying to teach, and what are you hoping the technology will ultimately learn from you?